Hate Shapes, I don't know, came from a point in my life when I was really anxious, and it didn't really, it's more just the words themselves felt like they went nicely together, so it doesn't mean anything. I'm not really a hateful person. I'm really fucking non-confrontational in like the everyday world. But you know, everyone's angry, everyone hates, and you gotta put it into something. I put it into music, and you know, I think that's my way with coping with reality, even though everything's pretty good for the most part. But yeah, it's almost like music is a way of coping, and that's kind of what the name is reflected through. So I'm going to be recording over a series of MIDI loops that I made last week and structured out, and I'm just going to be recording vocals and adding automations to that, as well as recording guitar parts and doing manipulations of those signals as well, with looping and delays. So we'll get started. I'll show you kind of the ensemble I'm working with. It's gonna be a bunch of MIDI loops that I made. First one is a pad. It's gonna sound like this. These are not the loops. This is me just playing with the keyboard, like a MIDI controller, I guess. The next one is going to be a bell pad. Something I'm trying to make kind of like a signature for the project I'm working on right now. We're gonna have a bass line, like a house bass, kind of. Like that. We're gonna have another version of that that's lower, has a little more depth to it, just to layer underneath that. We're going to have a synth that I just took from one of my older songs. It's got that's it right there. I put a ton of reverb on it, a shit ton of reverb, and I put a beat repeat on it. So the loop itself sounds like that. I'll take the beat repeat off, and I'll take that's the loop. So I'm not going to use it raw like that because I just want it to be more atmospheric. So that is that. And oh yeah, one more instrument I'm going to have is just kind of like a drone that we're just going to add to put in some depth at certain places. It's going to be like this. So here come the vocals that I'm going to do live. Okay. An influence that I have from a long time ago that still affects me is like someone like Flying Lotus or someone like Godspeed You Black Emperor. Two very different artists, but yeah, but different things that I've always carried with me and have had like a huge impact on the way I approach music. And you know, nowadays with how I create music, I listen to a lot of Fever Ray. Lately I've been listening to a lot of Dark Side, which I really like, and I think had a lot of influence on this track that I put out, you know, today. And also Suicide. I've never heard of Suicide. They're like this minimalist band from like 1977, and I never heard of them until like last week, which is the night I started like recording the song because I was influenced by them, and how, you know, they use less to create something, and I wanted to kind of approach new material like that. So I don't know, that's you know, it's all on a spectrum. There's massive influences, there's immediate influences, there's ones from the past that keep showing up but they're subtle. I don't know, it's all influx. to add depth to that loop that comes in for the second half of that verse, I'm just going to use a filter sweep. Obviously, once that loop comes in, I threw in a bunch of pads. That is how I structured the song. I started out as a guitarist, so that's kind of, I just tried to make music just with a guitar at first, but it was really hard to do without a band. So I had a band, and then I started learning production tools, and then you could just make music with anything. And I tried to be, to this day I try to be very bare bones with my production. I use Ableton right now, and I use stock instrumentation from that. I don't like using a bunch of plugins, a bunch of different kinds of synths. I just like using what I can find in the program, or what I can sample from basic things like YouTube. I'm not trying to get any fancy equipment or anything. I just like being bare bones and working with what I have. And I don't like to expand very far out from that, because then I get too overwhelmed, and then the process is it's not even worth it. So with things like guitar, I can just fuck around. I can record loops with MIDI instruments, and then if I want to record a guitar line, I can just improvise, and if I like it, I can loop it, I can do whatever I want with it. I can affect the shit out of it to the fact that it doesn't even sound like a guitar. And lately I've been influenced by enough artists that I really wanted to incorporate vocals into it. Artists artists from anywhere from Death Grips to Madonna, and I wanted to add vocals to it. And I couldn't really sing, but I just use enough vocal processing and pitch shifters and shit that I just I can pull it off without, I don't know, it doesn't sound corny to me, maybe it will to other people, but I don't care about that. And so, that's where that came from, is just influence as far as the vocal aspect goes. But as far as actually sampling something, I honestly just go through YouTube and look for something that sounds, oh, that was weird. Look for something that sounds kind of cool, and if I like it, I'll put it in a pad and I'll just play around with it. I'll cut it up. Cool. We're gonna duplicate that whole chorus line. We're gonna pitch it up and add a harmony in using programming. So that's gonna be this one right here. But we're gonna turn it up 12 steps. I started playing guitar probably when I was 11 or 12, and I was just I played normal 12-year-old stuff. I played a lot of AC/DC, a lot of Led Zeppelin, a lot of The Who, Black Sabbath, shit like that. And I just kept playing just guitar music, started getting into Pink Floyd and Judas Priest, very different artists, but they were all guitarists or guitar-based music, and I really took to that. And when I was in high school, when I was probably 15, I joined a band with a good friend Brian, or he wasn't a good friend at the time, but we became good friends through that. We'd been going to school with each other since we were in sixth grade. We were 6 years old. And, he now is Lion, the producer, who's also on Intelligent Sounds, and he's in Japan right now, just doing his own thing, but we're all still in the music world. And we started playing together in just kind of rock bands, and eventually as we kind of grew and, got into different influences, we started listening to a lot of music that was just not, I don't know, the structure was just geared towards really listening to something rather than pop songs. You had to wait for just it was just almost ominous, I would say. Ominous is the word that comes to mind. And, you know, it was really fun. I don't know how many people dug it, but it was really fun. And then we went off to college together, music school, which we really ended up not liking for any number of reasons, but we both ended up going to school in Lawrence for KU. He went for history, I went for geography, and from there we started a band with some of our old friends, and that band is called Forrester, and that went really well for a really long time. It was a 5-piece kind of post-rock electronica group where he and I both kind of started getting more comfortable with working in production and things like that. And so, I don't know, eventually we broke up because we all graduated from college and we all wanted to go do different things. And, you know, I did a lot of things. I moved to Seattle to try to just like be in the music scene there. That didn't work. I moved back here. And I started working, you know, I had already started working with Intelligent Sound, but once I moved back here, I started really like working with Intelligent Sound a lot. And here I am today, just, you know, working with them and really just like messing with the process. You know, it's all just like experimentation at this point. I'm still trying to, like, I released an album last year, and that was somewhat satisfying, but it was more just me figuring out what I wanted to really do. And I think that's the new material that I'm working on now, is just living up to the potential that I feel like I have. Alright, so for the next section, after that little ditty, we're transitioning to like finally a new drum beat, which is this one. And during that, I'm just going to have a drone going on that I'm going to create with a DL4 and my guitar. After that happens, I'm going to mess with some just vocals, just really make this noisy and kind of fucked up. The exposure I get to artists in the city is mainly just through Intelligent Sound. I really like, you know, working with and, you know, seeing shows from artists like Rick Mon with Fuck Life and shit like that. Brian Rogers, Lion. I like Zealous. I like X Wilson. I like Zach Lattice's projects. Anything from, you know, Intelligent Sounds. You know, there's a reason I'm affiliated with them. I also, you know, I work with Widow's Ride, which is a product of two friends of mine, Paul Atwood and Justin Wushinski. I think that's how you say his last name. Never had to say his last name to him, so the fact that I'm saying it right now on camera is really like, he's gonna watch this and he's either gonna be like, oh, you got it, or he's gonna be like, fuck you. But anyways, I play bass and I design kind of electronic loops for their project to be played live, and now we're in the process of recording an album. So obviously they have been a big local influence of mine. I just joined Joe Stanciola's band for Secondhand King. I play guitar in that. Hopefully that goes well. I have yet to really work with them, but I'm really excited about it. I guess that's just kind of a plug for me. But those are, you know, that's less of an influence. That's not as much an influence as it is something I am excited for. But yeah, influences, mainly local influences at least, come from Intelligent Sound and Widow's Ride. I really don't go see shows a lot. I'm kind of a recluse when it comes to getting work done and working on music and being in the scene. So. That's the one, and then we're going to mess with the delay time. Okay, cool. I like leaving my comfort zone and then being able to come back to my comfort zone. I like going and camping. I'm not a good camper. I'm not like an outdoorsman by any means, but I am someone who likes to go outdoors and just kind of be in the elements for, I don't know, a week at a time every now and then. And so that's something that's fun to me. As far as anything else that I do outside of music, you know, I do what I do like for a job, which is basically being a server. You know, that's just for money. I don't, you know, there's really no passion in that. And then music is my escape from that. You know, it's a thing that I like feel like I should be doing, but I'm also not a romantic type, and I'm not one to like pursue just like, even though this is not lucrative, I should just do it full time. Like, no, I'll just do it when I have free time, and I'll take the time to actually, you know, make it good. I'll make time, I'll sleep less, I'll do whatever I have to do to just balance that out. But, you know, I don't really have much else in my life that, you know, obviously, well, yeah, my family, obviously I have that in my life, but, you know, that honestly, it doesn't take too much energy. It's mainly just balancing work and my actual passion, which I think is a really healthy pattern. And I'm not the kind of guy who's like just waiting to like make it so that I can like live off of music. I think I'm always going to have another means of, you know, income when it comes to actually like supporting myself financially. But, you know, if I didn't have music, like, fucking throw myself off a building. That's where I want to end it.
Okay, hey, I'm Hate Shapes. I'm here in my bedroom, and this is for the moms and the dads and everybody else, but mostly the moms.
Hey America, I brought Magnum condoms for my Monstum dong. Fucking hate myself.